I'll fall asleep, man. This shit was so boring, dude. Like, my God. Wow. Wow. You know, hey, this shit right here, boy, they give that the 2020 vice presidential debate run for his fucking money. Like, holy crap. All right, here's the other one. This is more in depth.
2020 election.
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate.
If you become vice president, why should Americans trust that you will give Donald Trump the advice he needs to hear and not just the advice he wants to hear?
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open. And sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people.
Oh, what's that?
I think we heard that part.
Yeah.
Rising wages,
this one more thorough.
Rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it.
You said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us.
Wow, we got a dummy that's not pro-China. I mean, not anti-China, I mean. Wow.
Yeah, but it's with the flavor.
Yeah.
It's with the popsicle flavor. It's still sugar.
Yeah. Man, speaking truth to power, Smurf.
He wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID. And I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Kamala Harris was the attorney general of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all want to solve this.
Hey, Smurf, you're going to drink that whole bottle, man. It's going to be gone by the end of this clip, man.
Yeah, but I knowing you, I bought a whole box of wine.
Hey, man. Hey,
So now I need a wine cellar.
Yeah, putting up with all this bullshit in United States politics, I need a whole stack of fucking White Claw seltzer back there. Hey, one day you'll probably see some back there, man. Like, these motherfuckers just drive me, like, it blow my fucking brain off, man. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Most of us want to solve this. That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue. It gives him to, what would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things?
The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States of America.
We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this, we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed. You've got hospitals that are overwhelmed. You have got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the people who do it. And it lets us keep our dignity about how we treat other people.
Just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990.
Was he promoting the program?
Yeah, it sounded like it. He couldn't help himself, man.
He was to attack the program, but he didn't come up to it, and he only talked about the program.
Yeah, he basically saying like, hey, immigrants, you can download the app on their phone, and they get instant immigration status. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck they got to do with the question? He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself. Oh my God, man. I don't know.
Gentlemen,
they muted
the
mic
audience
too,
can't
man.
hear you because your mics are cut.
You know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options. One of them is actually very dear to me. She felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family.
Man, these motherfuckers lying like a motherfucker, man. Shit. God damn.
The carrot and the stick. We're about family. We're all about family, but actually we're gonna enforce family. Like the carrot and the stick.
Even if the pregnancy is detriment to the mother, we don't give a fuck. still have that baby, even if you're dead. They ain't gonna leave the baby in the street because they're not gonna provide housing for the kid or food for the kid. So I hate this fucking country, man. Man.
They're gonna make it
Yeah, I
legal
think
for the kids to go to jail, jail kindergarten, so they can be raised in jail for private
Oh Lord.
companies.
Oh hell yeah.
So we can boost the
I
population to fund a war with China. That's because they know that they don't have a really high population, and they're really worried. So they're all about the
yeah.
kids, the kids, the kids. But it's
Yeah.
if only they were serious about the family, like
Yeah.
that would help them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if they say, hey, we're gonna provide families with let's say a fucking like credit tax credit or whatever the fuck, but they don't offer that shit. So why are you saying that you want to be
Exactly.
pro family? You want to be pro family, and you want to force a mother to have a baby
Yeah.
that's
But
maybe detriment or they can't afford it. No, the math ain't
they're always
mathing.
like pro-life as long as it's not an actual human baby out of the womb. Because then giving him rights, voting rights, no, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Safety, gun safety, health care, nothing. So they care about the baby, but not the human. That's just despicable.
That's the
Anyways.
United States, man. That's the
Yeah,
United
I
States
know,
for
I
you.
know, I know. I'm used to it. I know this beast.
Yeah.
there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options.
When you listen to Vice President Harris talk about this subject and you hear me talk about it, you hear us talking exactly the same. Donald Trump is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about what's happening. His running mate, though,
Man, they've been saying that shit all night long. I'd agree with you on this. I'd agree with you on that. What
Yeah,
the? They
yeah.
running on the same ticket?
I don't want to be gross, but they were like sucking each other's thing,
Ah, man. Hey,
and then
hey.
coming back on it. But yeah, but I would disagree on that though.
Yeah, I agree with him on that one. I agree with Senator Vance on that. Like, what the fuck, man?
And then
Like,
and then they took pity on each other for being such wimps, and they started trying to antagonize a little bit for the show. Yeah, it was weak. It was weak sauce. Yeah, it was weak.
yeah, this is one of the worst debates I've seen in a
Like,
long time.
watch rich
does
men with
not.
ties humiliate each other without doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. Man, both of these motherfuckers take money from the same foreign agent APAC, so kind of do make sense. They agree. Of course, yeah, they agree on Israel. Of course, one of them gonna say one of them is pro Palestinian, which the both of them not, because if they was, why are women and children still getting bombed like missiles right now for falling? But okay,
And that's the problem. I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. No one's trying to scaremonger and say we're taking.
man, people made a big deal out of because Vance said he felt sorry for his son witnessing that. I'm like, what Vance supposed to attack him that his son witnessed a shooting? Like, what the fuck? Like, that was these folk online weird as hell, man. Them right wingers, man. Like, you ain't supposed to see team sports mentality with these parties. You ain't supposed to, agree with Walsh on that. Okay.
Your guns, but I ask all of you out there, do you want your schools hardened to look like a fort? Is that what we have to go when we know there's countries around the world that their children aren't practicing these types of drills? They're being kids. We owe it to them to get a fix.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's
appreciate
doing
you
okay.
saying so.
Christ have mercy. It is awful. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do think that we need to get to the root causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence problem, but I do think it's a big piece of it.
Just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and
That's funny. The economical pivot of the capitalism that was so hungry for profits that it ditched the U.S. flag to go produce in the China,
Mm-hmm.
and they are now like Democrats suddenly, like supposedly, like, and he's trying to pin that on like this guy Walt, like what? No, like well, yeah, but I mean, it's the same bunch, it's the same people, and it's
Yeah.
sorry, like yeah, I shouldn't interrupt. It was so stupid. Like,
No,
but
you
it's
good.
kind of funny that this guy is trying to pin all this evil capitalism building abroad
It's on
on
both
the
of them.
Democrats. Like,
It's
well,
both.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what Trump said. It's on both sides. It's on both
yeah,
sides. It's on both sides.
yeah. He would be right.
That what they do. Like same with Israel. Like they call Biden. He's pro Hamas and shit like that. But Biden
It
supports
doesn't
Israel.
stick.
Same
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore.
Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this.
See?
I watched it happen too. I watched it to my communities, and we talked about that. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about it. Kamala Harris has a record, 250,000 more manufacturing jobs just out of the IRA.
May I respond to that?
Yes.
So appreciate that. So if you notice what Governor Walz just did is he said, first of all, Donald Trump has to listen to the experts. And then when he acknowledged that the experts screwed up, he said, well, Donald Trump didn't do nearly as good of a job as the statistics
No, that's a
show
gross
that
generalization.
he did. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens.
you get that,
Oh my
Andre?
God.
Whack-a-mole is a hard game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's the
They
level of
both
skill
jacking off on each
required to
other.
be like, yeah.
Man, what I got from that debate was they both jacked off each other, like you said earlier. I just say I was just gonna say it, they jacked off each other, and like both of them basically agree on Israel. They both agree on,
They
trade
didn't
war.
know what to debate on, and they were like trying to play in the corners because the main field was already blue or red. Didn't matter.
Yeah, and then what gets me is, Democrats have 50 years to codify Roe v. Wade into law, but they still running on it after it got overturned. And the other guy, he said he want to be pro-family, which he don't give a fuck about that child. He just want that child to fight in the imperialist wars or work at Amazon and shit. Work for the corporation they donate money to his ass. So, just two deeply unserious, like Nick Cruz on RBN always say, deeply unserious motherfuckers.
Yeah, but
If I
they're unserious to us. But like a bunch of think tanks running a few billions of profits per year, they're very serious about it.
yeah,
And they're total bullshit. Like, who didn't envision the ammo situation in Ukraine? Like, like who's responsible for that? Like, you must be really stupid. You got a thousand think tanks, but they couldn't come up with reality. So they're very serious, sure, but they're
yeah,
also very deluded.
yeah. Well, I say that though to the like the normie American that thinks these motherfuckers will change their lives. They probably, I'll say that okay, the undecided voter sees that, and I think they'll say, if they're black and they're, they think immigrants are taking their jobs. Like, well, I kind of side with Tim Walz and Trump here, but the motherfucker that probably lean liberal that support abortion, I like what Walz said. Okay, I see what you say on that, but but the 60% of people that don't vote, I bet they watch that shit and laugh their ass off, man. Like, just
Yeah, we're
too
politically homeless. Like that's not gonna bring us home. That's
no.
not gonna make us come back home. We know what drove us out, and that's exactly what did drive us out. The collaboration between both sides, the
Hold on.
like if at least if it was a real sports team, they wouldn't score each other's goals.
So you right on that one, man. Holy shit. Hold on, I gotta show you one more. I don't know why they ain't show this clip, man. Man, this is gonna be. You gonna like this one, man. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't let a player like Joe Manchin play both sides when he likes. Like
Yeah.
you're playing for the
Yeah.
team or not. And
Exactly.
I don't believe in like that shit anymore that much. But the analogy is worth it. Like
Yeah.
the party line kind of sucks, And in reality, party lines are bad. But like
I hate
Joe Manchin really is not even somewhere close to the line. Like
man. Joe Manchin to me, I see Joe Manchin as a guy that um
it's just a
like
symptom.
he
Like
like a
there's
referee. He
always
like a
gonna be one of
referee.
them.
Yeah, Joe
Yeah,
Manchin like a referee that, like,
yeah,
like let's say he got a parlay. He got his parlay set on
yeah,
this one team, and he could make a call. And they're gonna go. Like at the end of the game, like he gonna call like a holding call on this
yeah.
team because his corporation. That was Joe Manchin
Yeah,
is.
he's a
Like,
referee if the match is fixed.
yeah, yes,
He's
yeah,
just an
yeah,
actor, like giving
yeah.
points one side, the other side, trying to look like it's fair, but it's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like Christian cinema too, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same
Yeah,
shit.
there's always gonna be one, no matter how progressive they look, no matter how rainbow or redneck they look. There's always gonna be a turncoat to make it 50-50, no move.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed,
Status
man.
quo.
Um,
Yeah.
agreed. One more clip, man. I was you, I get that wine ready, man. Oh my god. Yeah. Here you go.
Book ads. And I think a revisionist history on this. Look, I don't understand how we got to this point, but the issue was that happened. Donald Trump can do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions.
Wait, they did play this part, but like,
This
keep
idea
watching.
that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement. But this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's.
I ain't mean to interrupt, but if I see this and I see that, damn, these motherfuckers agree on this shit, then why they running against each other? It might well just be a unity ticket. I'm just saying, like, damn, I
But
never seen that before.
they have to go shopping for something to disagree nobly on. Like, as
Yeah,
gentlemen, we gotta stop
yeah,
being on our knees like that. We gotta, like, at least give the impression of tapping our swords or something.
yeah, yeah, man. I know. You go ahead.
Yeah, but even then, you know what I think about, like, October 6th? Like, if it was real, it's true that it would be problematic, but it wasn't real. So, like, it's theater, and to bring it back up is like scripted again.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's almost like it was included in the debate. You got to talk about that,
yeah,
and they have
yeah,
their lines. Like anyway,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you saying. Obviously,
Inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020.
It was a damning non-answer. Like, why are we still talking about January 6th, dude? This what
Because
October the 2nd?
words mean nothing anymore. Like
Oh my god.
how many seasons of this shit could you watch on CD box set, and it would still mean nothing. It would still amount to nothing at all.
Yes.
Like they're they're only like putting it on display that these are the engines of like of what's running policy. It's corporation, and the corporations have their hands in both teams. And
Yeah.
so when like what is left to fight about? Like you see it, like then they just you fire you up with certain issues.
True. Exactly.
We've talked about
Yeah, like
Exactly.
like the right, anti-abortion, the left, pro-abortion. Yeah, like, the you know, hey, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna finish this up. You know, I thought religion divided motherfuckers, but hell, politics definitely, like these political parties is a tool of division as well. Like most Americans agree on like good policies. It's just that one side, one set of people got indoctrinated on this side, and the other people got indoctrinated on the other side. So you
You're
know,
touching a nerve. You're touching a very important nerve there. That they're both structures of power, and
hmm
you can see it. You can feel it. Like it's hard to see organized crime as a structure of power, but it is. There are many minor and major structures of power, but religion and political military are obvious ones.
yes,
And that touches a bit on the topic we promised the viewers we would talk about religion,
oh
but
yeah, that's next.
yeah, yeah. So, like, you're really touching a nerve there. That those are you cannot deny religion or politics, or you cannot deny military, and those are realities, and they do wield power. They are structures of power since beginning of time. If you want to crush your neighbor because you want his stuff, if you have three guys with you willing to give their life for you, well, you know that's how you have a structure of power going on. You lie to them, you promise them something, but you get people under you following you, and that's political. That's what it is. You get people under you that follow you, that will vote for you, then you have power. If you have people behind you with guns, you have power. If you have people behind you with a sacred book about life and death, then you
Oh
have a
god,
power.
book of fairy
So,
tales. Yep,
yeah, but some people will believe them. There's a market for it.
man.
So, yeah,
It,
those are structures of power, and they're on display right now.
yeah, yeah, and I wish those two power structures would just fucking disappear from society. I think the world would be a
Oh,
better
we tried.
place.
We tried.
Yeah,
The in other countries they do swear on separation of state, church and state.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
France you have that. In the states you should have that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and in many
Louisiana.
countries, yeah, that's when
Yeah,
you see the damage that faith can do to your institutions, because it's another power structure on top of another power structure, so they cannot cohabit peacefully.
yeah,
And they try to go on the same spheres of play, like they try to take control of education and healthcare and charity, and then they have a tight grip on how people think and what people do.
yeah.
And when you once you learn that, and you kick
The
the
money too.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and some circles of society will always like fall prey to the fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Facts. Facts, man. I can't wait to get on the religion topic. Yeah. That could be another hour within itself.
sure, why
About
not?
it. I'm happy to talk about it further, but you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the first.
Isn't me or why Tim Walker like he lost all his money gambling or some shit. Like he just look at him like he look like he's man, right wing Twitter and Instagram were ripping this motherfucker last night, dude. Like, god damn. Like memes of him looking like that all over social media. Crazy.
First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off.
Yeah. Tim Walker said something like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Facebook for saying that toddlers should.
Yep.
Governor.
Yep. Look at him now. Look at him now. I can't, man. Oh man. Oh God.
Fire in a crowded theater, that is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate. It's not anything anywhere.
We know he lost the election. Why are we talking about this on October 2nd, 2024? That's what I'm asking. Thank God.
Other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's
on the
why Mike
same
Pence
day
isn't on the
that
stage.
Iran bombs Israel, you have them talking about some random shit that happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, gun nuts with no guns. Like Jimmy Dore said, gun nuts with no guns. Damn. Imagine these motherfuckers when the revolution, like when we have a real revolution. That's the October 6th shit. Well, that was just a facade. Nah, the shit that I want to be a part of, you want to be a part of, Ty Pez and everybody else. That's the shit they're gonna be scared of.
What I'm concerned about is where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America.
This guy.
Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't think I would do that, because of course that's what we would do. So America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.